Hello everyone and welcome to the Africam show. Oh, it is chilly where I am at the moment. I'm so glad for this little escape into the warm African bush for the next 45 minutes. Oh, welcome aboard everyone. Remember that we're live and interactive, so you can send through questions and comments. You know how much I love to hear from all of you. And if this is the first time that you're joining us, please go ahead and let us know. We love to welcome new members into our community. And maybe you've been watching the cameras but haven't had the opportunity to really get to the bottom of some of those interesting things you've been watching. Well, this is your opportunity to ask those questions. Now, as we were moving through the cameras before we actually went live, a minute ago, I saw some elephants. So I was super happy and I was hoping they would stick around, but we saw them in Koro. And I'm very glad to have elephants around. Probably my favorite animal to watch. So hard to say that, as you know. Anyway, we have a whole lot of hellos coming through. Rolling Trouble says, hi all from Washington, coffee and water here. And of course, Mr. H, UAE 87, has coffee and a coconut cake. Oh, that's a very good combo. I myself am having a good old-fashioned traditional cup of tea with milk because it's one of those days. It's really, really chilly. Jean Gale says, hello, coffee in hand, another sunny day in Seattle. Oh, I love it when we've gotten to know each other over the years and gotten to know the different locations and the cameras and the animals over the years. And as much as I love getting to know the animals, also enjoy getting to know all of you. And remember in the summer here, and we used to get all these hellos that would say from a cold and chilly here and a rainy here, and now it's the other way around. Here we're back at the Nkoro waterhole. We're just looking over onto the other side. Those elephants were the ones that were drinking just a little earlier. And this is the first time that I've actually seen a hippo in this waterhole. Now, this hippo doesn't look in fantastic condition, I must say. Looks a little on the skinny side. You can kind of see the hip bone poking out a little bit, and the spine is a little more obvious than I would expect. We don't often get to see any bony protrusions in hippos. They're quite fatty. But it's actually, when we look at the rotund body of a hippo, always described as barrel-shaped because it very much is like a barrel. And you can also see, like, near the neck, there's a lot of folds, so it looks like there's a lot of fat on a hippo. But the majority of the mass, like the actual barrel shape that we see, it's made up of muscle. Yes, there is definitely fat involved. There's always some fat on animals. And in the neck area, the thickness of the neck is because of muscles, but these folds, that's fattiness in the skin. I think that just gives us a little bit more perspective. It's not just some fatty animal that's super aggressive, or at least in some circumstances can be, and is very intimidating. It's actually a barrel full of muscle that can come like the wind if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. So something else that's indicating to me that maybe this hippo is not having the best time in the world, the cracks on the back. Those cracks are pretty deep, pretty obvious. In fact, I haven't seen a hippo with those kinds of cracks in a long time. I can only recall seeing one once before, and that was about 4 years ago, that had these kinds of really deep fissures in the skin. Hippos, as we've spoken about, have really delicate skin, and so it can dry out very easily. Hippos have adapted to a semi-aquatic lifestyle, and so has their skin. Skin is used to being in and around water. Which came first? It's a little bit of a chicken and egg thing. Did the skin become more sensitive to the sunlight because of the semi-aquatic lifestyle, or did the skin cause the hippos to be more semi-aquatic? It's just a chicken and egg story. Either way, their skin is very, very delicate, can dry out easily, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. The top there is pretty dried out and cracked. Some nice deep breaths from the hippo. And when things get really dry, hippos can exude a fluid from the pores on their skin, and that can help to maintain the skin. It's kind of like the sebum on your face, or anywhere in your body really. It's your body's way of exuding oils to protect your skin barrier. In the case of hippos, they produce two types of acids, hipposudoric acid and non-hipposudoric acid, and they're kind of pinky in color. And that acts to protect the skin, not only as a liquid to prevent or at least reduce desiccation, but it also has antimicrobial properties. So it helps to keep it free from infection. And if you can imagine your own skin cracking, it's very sore, but it also leaves you open to potential infection. Oh, AussieJan2 is here. Good afternoon to you, AussieJan2. Yes, of course, we know it's coffee time for you. April Al says good morning from sunny Connecticut with your cherry iced tea and a berry muffin. You're happy to be here for the show. Nice, everyone. Oh, I can hear those elephants that were just over on the other side of that drainage. I wonder what they got upset about. I wonder if we could just swing around and have a look. Because as you can see, the sun is already low in the sky. It's like, golden hour lasts more than an hour these days in winter. And this particular area, there's lots of leopard movement. And I have been seeing leopards move around a lot earlier in the winter time. So if we could just have a little pull back, just a look in the direction of those elephants, I think it would be a good idea, because elephants can respond very strongly to the presence of predators, and I find that they actually respond more strongly to leopards. I wonder if it's because leopards are on their own, and so it's not like a pride of lions where it's best to just kind of avoid. Yes, they'll still be upset, but they almost pick on leopards. I just wanted to have a look over on that side to see if there's any movement. Don't know why I'm feeling leopardy today. It's always a good feeling though. Kind of hate it when it doesn't pan out though, but that's the bush and nature, isn't it? Okay, I can see the elephants all the way on the other side. Nah, they just look totally fine. Maybe something else upsets them. In the last month, when I was spending some time very close to where this camera is at the moment, I found more leopards by listening to elephants than I had by tracking. Elephants, really, there were so many elephants around, and they really gave us a great indication of predator movements, especially when a leopard goes into the block and you can't drive through, it's too thick and you're not sure where to go, and you just wait and you think, okay, I know there's an elephant herd in there, and then bam, you get almost like a little alarm from them. Now, elephants don't alarm call, but they are still like an alarm system. Oh, I can hear a lovely pearl-spotted owlet going in the background. The ascending and descending tone of their call. Yeah, elephants are totally relaxed. Oh well, I don't know, I'm still having a leopardy feeling. Maybe it's just because I really want to see one. But we'll keep an eye on the camera, obviously, in case anything pops up. Kaoru, you say, hi, you have milk and a red Honduran mini banana today. That sounds amazing. Very nice. Bridget McKinney says hi. Zygote says hi. Oh, Zygote, you're sorry you were stuck in the traffic jam. No worries. We are so glad that you're here. It doesn't matter that you're a little late. Okay, no leopard action. We are going to keep an eye on the camera, but I want to move us over. Here we go to a very special camera. This is the Nguma camera. It's new for us. It's super exciting. It's a different type of environment, and it is right on the border of Etosha National Park in Namibia. And we have a great big elephant bull coming through. Now, the thing about, in fact, most of the places in Namibia, there aren't very many tall trees. There are a few scattered, but most of the area is open. Oh, you can even see the giraffes in the distance. Now that's one thing I love, because it's so open. You see animals coming from quite a distance. But it is so difficult to judge size, to judge distance between one object and another. It is so difficult, and it plays tricks on you. At least here, we can see a few tree lines. The one obviously closest to the waterhole, and the one at the back there before it gets very open. And that gives us a little bit, something to compare with when we want to judge distance. But in other areas around here in Etosha National Park, it can be so much of the same color that it really makes judging anything difficult. This elephant bull seems like it's quite a big boy. That forehead has rounded off nicely. Quite stocky. Still a way to go. Tusks are still short. And I'm really glad that we saw an animal here for its debut on the Africam show. Oh, Laura MC, you say good morning, Trish and everyone from a very hot and humid Texas Gulf Coast. That sounds fantastic. Laura MC, I mean, I've got socks on, I'm sitting next to a heater, and I've got a blanket around my legs, and I have a hot cup of tea. It is chilly. Oh wow, in the background I cannot, so there were the 3 giraffes that were just on the other side of the second tree line, and then further in the distance there's 2 more giraffes. Ah, this is so cool. I always love a new place to explore. And this is our first camera in Namibia. So it's really special. The majority of our cameras, obviously here in South Africa, and then we've got Temporal Plains in Zimbabwe, we've got Vic Falls, we've got Oldonyo, and now here we have Nguma as well in Namibia. So we're really getting us the best kind of African experience. So much variety. April Owl, you say you saw 4 giraffes. I saw 5, I think. We can have a look in a moment. Oh, look, see, this elephant's tusks are really nice and thick, even though they're short. Rolling Trouble, you say, woohoo, new cam. Oh, it is exciting. So exciting. I think my favorite thing about it is that it's a new country for us. It's a new type of environment. It's quite an arid area, not getting a ton of rain. You're going to see lots of dust getting kicked up, different types of soils, and you might even see a black-faced impala coming through in this area, something that we don't see on our other cams. Oh, we were just chatting about Old Danyo. I know we're looking at the elephant and the giraffe that just chased away, but these guinea fowl were just way too funny right in front of the camera, and then the camera focused on them. Oh, who's scaring who here? You know, guinea fowl can be very intimidating. You may not think so, but they really can be intimidating. This bull is not happy. He's scared of the giraffe. Feels like a little bit nervous in general. The tail was starting to stiffen just a little. Doesn't look like a terribly young bull. Maybe late teens. Maybe 20. Forehead starting to round, but there's still a little bit of a boxy shape to it. He still has a young bull look, but not the type of young bull that's just been pushed out of his head. No, he's older than that. I haven't seen this bull before. Have any of you seen this bull before? He's very obvious. He's got that backward-facing tusk. He's not part of the bachelor herd we usually see moving around here. You know, the one with 1 ton. And, oh, look at the rip on that ear. Oh, very recognizable. Very nervous. It's almost as if these guinea fowl are pushing him back. And if you see, he is reversing. He's taking steps backwards as opposed to just turning around and leaving. So that's also an indication of being nervous, being put in a situation that he doesn't want to be in. He wants to have a drink. He wants to do so comfortably. And there's a giraffe at the waterhole, and there's these guinea fowl that just can't seem to understand that they're making him uncomfortable. Oh, look at the dust as they run. Things are really drying out. I think dust is one of those things that you don't really pay attention to. And then once the dry season comes around, obviously you're seeing a lot more dust. And then you kind of get used to it. And you forget that there ever is a time when there's no dust. And then the first rain comes. It doesn't even have to be a big rain. Just a little drizzle. Something that settles the ground. And you're driving around and suddenly you realize, oh, there's no dust. I think that bull will come back. But he might wait until the giraffe moves away. And the guinea fowl. Well, let's see. If the giraffe moves away and then he comes back, maybe it was just the giraffe. There we go. Answered. Well, I mean, the guinea fowl have sort of moved away too. Kaoru, you saying, why would this elephant be scared of a giraffe? Giraffes aren't predators. Absolutely. There's no reason to be scared of the giraffe. But, and this goes with elephants a lot, particular experiences that they have had during that day, in that week, just over their life, can cause them to be particularly nervous. So, I mean, if we were to just hypothesize, maybe he had a bad encounter specifically with a giraffe. But I doubt that's the case. Giraffes are not really confrontational. Like really, really not confrontational. But this elephant could have had a bad experience at a waterhole with another animal. Doesn't have to be a giraffe, could be any other animal. But the association is made between that feeling of perhaps being threatened, perhaps feeling like they weren't, or they were pushed out of the waterhole, and then associating that with being in any waterhole scenario. And sometimes those are really deeply rooted things, and sometimes there's something that they can get over quickly. Some elephants have bad experiences with cars, and in certain places, especially in areas where you can self-drive, so there aren't guides taking you. Those, oh, elitastic, we got some at Tau now. So in areas where there aren't guides that are always driving people around, so you can drive with your own car into a national reserve and see these animals, the public may not have the same kind of knowledge and etiquette around elephants. May try to, instead of waiting, they need to be somewhere. They try to go around elephants, and that can irritate them. In places where that's constantly reinforced, like in these self-drive areas, elephants can be very, very, not fearful, but can view the vehicle as a potential threat and will have a constant negative behavior towards the vehicle. Now, in other areas where it's not self-drive, where there's a guide and say I'm driving, and I take a turn, and I don't see that there's an elephant there around the corner, and I take the turn quickly, the elephant will get very irritated with me, and then I'll have to stop, and then the elephant will trumpet and show off to me a little bit. Then I'll stop, and I'll kind of, wait for the elephant. And usually, elephants get over that behavior very quickly. So maybe the next vehicle that drives past, the elephant's still going to be irritated with it, but the next day or the day after that, the elephant's going to be totally fine. So in a way, elephants can respond in a similar way to humans. You saw a car accident on the road yesterday, still makes you nervous on the road today. But in a couple of weeks, you're not feeling nervous anymore. But say you were involved in a car accident, that has a longer lasting effect. So Kaoru, I guess maybe that elephant at Oldonyo had a bad experience at a waterhole with any animal. Could have been yesterday, and he'll get over it soon. It could have been a while back, but it was quite traumatic, and it'll take him a while. Elephants are very similar to us in that way. In many ways, actually. I love how this herd walked through and did not have a care in the world about that crocodile that's just blending in with the soil very well. Just walked right past it. Now, I don't know if Mindy Tillapau is around. No, I didn't see a hello from Mindy. Maybe she will join us, but on Tuesday last week during the Africam show, Mindy was asking if there are any other animals that have temporal glands, and I said I don't know. And it was in response to we were talking a lot about wonton, the elephant, and talking about stress and the temporal glands on an elephant. And those temporal glands are little areas where they can secrete a substance called temporin on the side of their heads. So imagine where your temple is on your head, hence temporal glands. That's where their two glands are. So when an elephant is feeling stressed, and now stress can mean many things. It could mean, so firstly, for there to be a physiological response, there must be a chemical response that's happening. So if you are feeling nervous or anxious, then certain chemicals are changing in your body. And that can cause a physiological response like sweaty palms, your heart beat going really quickly. Hi, Mindy. Mindy just said, I'm here. Hi, Mindy. So there has to be something that's happening on a chemical level for it to be expressed physically, right? Now, we as humans have other issues that can affect us that we don't quite understand the relationship between, like things that we experience that are, I guess, like subjective experiences, soft experiences, ones that we can't really understand how it connects to what's happening chemically in our body and how that can affect other physiological functions in you. But at least from the animal perspective, the majority of what's happening, oh, we're back at El Doño. The majority of what's happening for the elephants when they excrete from their temporal gland has to do with something going on in their body physiologically. So when we say they're stressed, we don't mean stressed in the same way as humans, because we can't say that because it is a subjective thing. But it could be something as simple as dehydration. It could be a mother losing its calf. It could be seeing a predator. It could be having to walk a long distance and not having a break, or eating something it didn't like. So stress comes in a whole lot of different forms, but I'm talking about biological stress. So Mindy was asking if there were any other animals that had these temporal glands that in elephants we can use to indicate whether that elephant is in stress or not. And Mindy, I have not been able to find a single other animal. Now, so what I tried to do first, we know that elephants have these temporal glands, so I tried to look at elephant relatives. So elephants don't have very many close relatives, but their closest living relatives are hyraxes and Syrians, so dugongs, manatees, but also to an extent, or a little bit further down, remember we're not talking close relation here at all, but aardvarks are also related to those animals, hyraxes, dugongs, and manatees. And they could not find evidence, or couldn't find temporal glands or something close to it. I thought maybe manatees might be the one, or dugongs, but couldn't find any type of temporal gland for them. Aardvarks, couldn't find any. Hyraxes, or dassies, that we see on the Stony Point camera with penguins, they don't have temporal glands either, but they do have that dorsal gland. So then I was looking into the dorsal gland, but it's not used for the same thing. Dorsal gland is used for them to communicate and for them to rub on things, the secretion that is. So still, Mindy, the answer is, I don't know. I'll still have to do more research. I thought I'd be able to figure it out quickly, but I haven't been able to find any other animal. UK David, hi UK David. You're saying that the Aldonio elephant seems to react to sound. Could he have bad eyesight, perhaps? That is not a bad hypothesis at all. Let's continue to watch him. I mean, if I'm seeing a nervous elephant in general, they're going to react strongly to sound and sight. I wonder if we can zoom into his eye while he's at least still pretty stable. I just want to have a look at something. Now, of course, you can't really diagnose any kind of ocular issue just by looking at it, but there are certain things that I can see. For one, I'm going to have a look at whether he has normal buildup. So he's still producing lubricant for his eye. So it has that normal kind of whitish buildup on the sides. I can see that from here actually. I'm gonna have a look at what the condition of his eyelashes are in. Oh, let's actually move out a little bit here. Now that was a walk that said his eyes look fine. Sometimes you can quite easily see cloudiness. Sometimes the condition of the eyelashes are not good because maybe they've lost feeling in that area, or they don't take care of it as much because it's not being used. But he looks alright. But like I said, that's a very superficial assessment. Bridget McKenney, you say manatees and dugongs are aquatic, so how would they have temporal secretions? Aquatic animals can still have secretions. They can still, particularly, so the aquatic part doesn't really matter. It's the group into which they fall. So all these glands that secrete things are modified sweat glands. And sweat glands are things that we see in mammals. And when they're modified, I mean, they're modified to make mammary glands, to make temporal glands, or orbital or preorbital glands, basically any gland you can think of. So because manatees and dugongs are still mammals, even if they are aquatic, they can still have glands and secretions. Oh, UK David, I thought that was quite interesting. You really made me think about something different. So he could see the giraffe, or at least notice the giraffe, but almost had to walk right up to them. I don't know if this is like confirmation bias, but did you notice the swagger he had, lifting up his head as he saw the giraffes approaching? But then he moved very close to them. I think it's a little bit of confirmation bias. I have to watch him for longer. No, Zygote, you say you sweat when you're scared. Does that count? I mean, that's definitely a secretion. It's coming from a gland, so it counts as a glandular secretion. And it most certainly counts as a physiological reaction to something that's happening chemically in you. You're scared, your adrenaline is going up, making you sweat a little bit. So normally here at Eldonio, the giraffes are pretty, not brave, pretty relaxed. So they come up to the waterhole, even when there's other animals around, even when there's elephants around. But that initial meeting of this bull and those two giraffes, where he kind of went right up to them, he didn't shake his head or anything, he just lifted himself up. That initial reaction is pushing the giraffes back. Oh, shame, it looks like that tall giraffe went in for a hug and the other one just walked away. I mean, he's definitely seeing them, but how well he can see them, I don't know. Now also look how shapeless, almost, his forehead to his trunk is. We're not seeing that defined hourglass shape. So, as we suspected when we first saw him, not a very old bull. As a young bull, well, I mean, he's not terribly young. Like I said, he's probably in his late teens, maybe 20 at most. But that's a rough time. He's been on his own for a while now, would have been pushed out of the herd for a few years. For this first few years when they're, you know, like 15 to well, not even, like 13 to 16, 17, they cannot compete with the older bulls. So they're forming bachelor herds and they're trying to figure a life out on their own without the safety and companionship of the herd or their natal herd. It's a tough time. And then eventually they get big enough, they start joining other larger individuals, learning their ways, getting a bit more direction, figuring out life as a big adult bull. So first they have to get used to not having their natal herd around, being comfortable by themselves, and then finding a bachelor herd that they can learn something from. Still, it's not permanent at all. And I think that's quite an intense growing up period for elephant bulls. And I think that can also mean that they are a little more affected by things going on around them. A little more reactive, definitely. The most issues I have with elephants, you know, like elephants wanting to chase the car or just not letting go even if you're driving away, still chasing. It's always with young bulls. Older bulls can also be very unpredictable, especially if they're in must. But I have been lucky in that I haven't really experienced that with big older bulls. All my experiences with large older bulls, even when they were in must, was very respectful, almost. But that's not to say we should be complacent. But what I'm getting at is I think that this bull there's a lot happening at the moment. I mean, clearly he's got this rip in his ear. He's seen some things. He can't effectively fight with other bulls if he can join a bachelor group. Only one tusk of his is aligned in a way that will allow him to lock and fight. I think he's had a couple hardships. And like with us, many small things can make you irritable. And I find that it's the same with animals. Oh, what have you seen now? Oh, a jackal! Black-backed jackal! Oh, that's so cool! Not for the elephant. Oh, this is so cool! I love a black-backed jackal. Jackals in general. So now this is very interesting. The jackal, yes, he did give it a head shake, but the jackals are drinking, not really a problem. So something is really irritating him about big animals. But a small meso-carnivore, totally fine. I mean, yeah, a little bit irritated, but otherwise, seems fine. Oh man, this is too good. In the last few minutes we have together. Is there something else coming? Or is he just irritated with the jackals and doesn't know where to direct his attention? Oh, Rolling Trouble, you want to know what's up with the cheetahs that we had at the HESC camera, the bomas? We had the two king cheetahs that were in there that we were hoping were going to be pregnant and that we'd be able to see the whole ordeal. Unfortunately, they are not pregnant. So they've passed the expected due date by a bit. They're not pregnant, it's been confirmed, and they have now been moved back into their large enclosures. This elephant is more irritated with the giraffe than with the jackals. Off they go! Oh, they are so cool! Such cool animals. That could be it, definitely. You know, it's just like, imagine adolescence. Whole lot of things can irritate them. You know, you could really want, you know, at one point I really thought that I wanted blonde hair. And then as you grow out of it, you realize, actually, black hair suits me better. But when you're young, you want things that others have. And perhaps, as Kirst says, he's got a height complex. Oh, this is so interesting. So he's not being aggressive towards the giraffe. He's genuinely behaving in a way that suggests he's scared or perceives him as a threat. I can't imagine an elephant having a bad experience with a giraffe. I really, really wonder what happened. His tail is low, you can see it swinging. He's not posturing. Oh, there we go, lifted the head up. A little bit of posturing now. Ah, there we go. It's totally normal behavior for giraffes to be intimidated, though, by other animals at a waterhole. This individual right in front of us looks pregnant. And quite heavily. I can't say that I've seen a giraffe look that pregnant before. That's a proper belly. Maybe it's just the angle. Ah, it was just the angle. Still looks heavy though, I must say. Still looks a bit heavy. And I don't think I saw a penis sheath in that individual. I can't see one now. I think that's a pregnant female. She's got a lovely little pattern. So, on her front legs, if you follow the front legs up, There's almost like a handprint. A weird stubby hand, but still. A handprint. That's quite cool. Anyway, everyone, this is super interesting, but our time has come to an end. As usual, thank you for your questions and your comments. If I were you, I would keep on sticking around and watching the Aldonio camera. See what else you can pick up, any other interesting behaviors, because this has really captivated me. Anyway, until next time, everyone, bye for now.